Like, y'all don't actually let women say
See
anything.
what I'm saying?
You're
Y'all don't let,
telling me
let's have a
you're
conversation instead of
telling
you
me,
victimizing yourself and complaining about what I'm saying.
oh
Please
my,
talk.
this is actually quite funny because first you already told me I was a victim,
Um,
and now you're saying I
can we
victimized
have a
myself too.
conversation instead of you talking about what I'm doing?
But this is the law is about, right? I was asking about what you talked about in the beginning.
Let's have a
And like I said,
conversation
even
about that.
if you read the comments
Stop
even
talking
coming
about the
from
comments. Talk about
oh,
you, you,
what about me?
you, and me. Let's have a
Okay,
conversation and stop worrying
okay,
about all this other stuff. So, what
okay.
is your issue?
My issue is I feel as though you come from a one-sided perspective. I
Okay.
feel like you blame the woman for everything. Not saying that she is not to be held accountable because she should, because she's a person, not because she's a woman, but because she's a person. I find a lot of your content more so abusive. Now, probably not gonna like that word, but abusive towards women that are actually not the women that you're saying. And those women that don't reflect the women that you talk about, they actually been hurt by men. So what I'm saying is when we're trying to help bring balance to our community, both men and women, we have to be mindful of the masculine and feminine divine energy that we have inside of ourselves. You said and went earlier, this is not nobody else's words, but this came out of your mouth that men were here to provide and protect and not be empathetic. So you're talking about having a conversation. I would love to be able for you to be able to unpack that for me in terms of why you feel as though a man, especially a man who wants a woman to lead with her femininity, how is it that you feel as though a man should not be empathetic to a woman in her pain, but then wants that same woman to then create the peace for him?
So, my answer to that is our number one jobs as men is to provide and protect, not empathize. Okay? Is a part of who we can be. But our number one and number two primal ways of operating as men is protect and provide. Okay? Yes, we empathize. But
Mm.
the thing about it is when we men are raised by single mothers, which I'm against,
Mm-hmm.
we are not taught how to protect and provide. We are actually being protected by our mother bears instead of
Hurt.
being taught on how to protect and provide. So all we know how to do as young men being raised by single mothers is to empathize. And that is not necessarily conducive to a man of leadership because we just as a general of an army platoon, he ain't got time to be empathizing. There's a
Mm.
certain time to empathize, but at one point we're in war, or we got to get over this mountain, or we got to do what we got to do, or we got to find food, we got to find a watering hole, we got to find somewhere to hide. We have to protect and provide, which is water, food, and somewhere to hide so we won't get shot. Empathizing is last. But as men being brought up by women, a lot of men simply know how to empathize and not protect and provide because there's no father in the household. So when I talk so much about women, it's because most of us were raised by women.
It definitely makes sense, but I just feel like it's one-sided. That's why I was. That's how.
Let me just say this. Let me just say this one little part. In most of our lives, our household was one-sided.
Right.
Mother, no father. Even in your entire family dynamic, it's full of women. Let me ask you this. I don't know you. Is your family 90% women?
Yeah, of course.
That's what I'm saying. So
But
when
that's just
you wait, we on to something. So with that being said, if the majority of black families are not only one person being raised by a woman, but our entire families are full of women, and you see black people screwed up everywhere, it's not the person that left, it's the person that stayed. That's the problem. And we have to figure out why this is. So when you hear me say women, 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 which is cool, I'll take that, because there's no men. And there's a reason why there are no men. If the majority of black families are full of women, you don't see that there's a problem with that. The majority of us are raised by women and our families are full of women and there are no men. Is that a problem?
That's a problem. That's what I'm saying. We need to bring in the accountability of the men. Where are the men?
The reason why there are no men in these 30 million households that are, or families that are full of women, is because women, to a certain degree, are choosing men that are unable and incapable of leading the family in the first place. And the reason why they're doing this purposely is because of the innate need of control. So she actually finds a man to have a baby with that is incompetent, unable, and incapable of leading her, because she simply wants a baby. The average Black woman does not necessarily believe she will ever get married. Why? Because her mother, the person that raised all of us, her mother, her single mother, couldn't get married. So she projects those feelings into her daughter, into her son. And what ends up happening is she does not necessarily care or believe in marriage growing up, but the number one thing that her single mother taught her, because that's the only thing her single mother can teach her, is what she knows, which is this one thing, which is how to be a mother. So the young girl grows up knowing one particular thing: motherhood. So she goes out not seeking a husband, but seeking motherhood. She doesn't know how to cohabitate with a man. She doesn't know how men think. She doesn't understand men because she wasn't raised around a man. She didn't see a man in her household. Her mom doesn't understand men. Her mother seems to hate men. Her mother tells her don't trust a man. So she has no understanding of men in any shape or form. But the only thing she knows how to do is the one thing her mother knows how to do, which is mother. So the young girl mothers her siblings. She mothers her friends. She ends up mothering her own mother. Some age, you start telling your mama what to do. And she gets with a man and she has to mother her man. But strong men don't want to be mothered. So what type of man does she choose? Or is she stuck with a man she can mother? So she has a baby by a man that is, to a certain degree, her son. That is where all the men are. They're children in grown people's bodies because, one, they were raised by a mother, they were protected by a mother, and all they know how to do is be somebody's son. So they get with a woman that will mother him because she is the reincarnation of his mother, and he grows up being with a woman that is his mother. And he has a baby with this woman. All she wants is a baby and control, because when she has a baby by a man that is incapable of anything, because he is a son to a certain degree, she can do whatever it is that she wants. She can keep the baby away from the man. She ain't got to worry about no custody battles. She ain't got to worry about nothing. He can't get a lawyer. He can't do nothing. All she wants him to do is to pay child support, because at the end of the day, all she knows how to do is mother. So all she wants is a child. And she did it. And now the dude is free to go. And if a man doesn't have responsibilities, if a man doesn't know what the hell he's doing, if a man is incapable of leaving, he will oblige and say, oh, you want me to leave? I'm out, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing either anyway, because I wasn't raised by a man, so I don't know how to be a man of leadership anyway, because you chose a man like me anyway, so he's welcome to just up and leave, and he leaves.
So they need a man who they feel like is unthreatening to.
Yes, that's it, the non-threatening man.
So if I feel like you're somehow less than me, as if I'm your mother, or you're not a strong man, or I'm not going to get a lot of opposition, then you're safe.
Yes.
So if we have a weak man, now at least we have a man for show.
And like, somebody to make a baby with.
Exactly. Not somebody who's going to lead us, because they're not qualified to lead in the first place. So then it becomes that, that mother-son type relationship.
Exactly. So I like the word you use, non-threatening. The young lady asks, okay, so Aaron, why is it that is so many single mothers and most black families are full of women? The typical woman searches out to be a mother first because that's all she's raised to be is a mother. She doesn't know how to be a wife. She doesn't know how to be cooperative. She doesn't know how to listen. She don't know how to do it. All she knows how to do is mother other people. She mothers her cousin. She mothers her sisters. She mothers her brothers. She mothers her own mother. She mothers her uncle. She mothers everybody. So she gets with a man, and all she knows how to do is mother. And the only man that is accepting of a woman that is a mother is a man that was babied by his mother, and she becomes the reincarnation of his mother. And he is now the non-threatening man that she chooses to have a baby with. But because he's non-threatening, because he's inept, he's incapable, he's unable to be a leader, he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how to be a parent. And he gets the hell on, one, either by his own just laziness, or she belittles him and berates him and emasculates him so much to the point where he just gets the hell on because he can't deal with it no more, or she leaves him.
Right, or even when he's still there, he's still absent. He's
absent.
I get exactly what you're saying because I actually have a therapist that I went to see, and they said the same thing, that a lot of our anger problems, a lot of our issues come from childhood. It don't start with our adulthood. We take it out in our adulthood, and we'll pass it off in our adulthood, but it starts with our childhood.
Yep.
So when I was younger, you know, I really received a lot of trauma because I see my mom get beat. You get what I'm saying? So I saw my mom being the pushover. She would either get beat by men or she had to be too strong and alone.
Yep.
So I kind of took that on, you know, and my adulthood. It took for me to realize it after my mom passed. I was thinking my anger started with that because my mom was dead and I was mourning her death and everything, but it really wasn't that. It really was that I was lashing out at that time because I always knew to be this type of way from childhood.